Guys, I'm here for some last minute AP exam advice. Some general advice that I have for you guys is to sleep. Please do not stay up all night studying for the AP exam. Right? Your brain is going to function much better if you go to sleep early. Go to sleep before 10, get good sleep, and then when you wake up, eat a good breakfast, a breakfast that has some protein and some carbs in it. That is going to help your brain to function the best that it possibly can for the exam. The only thing that you need to bring are two regular sharpened pencils, no mechanical, two blue or black pens. Do not bring any electronics whatsoever, and also do not forget to bring your photo ID. Again, the things that count as a photo ID are a U.S. passport, a driver's license or a learner's permit, your school ID, and then if you don't have those things, you should have picked up the paperwork and got it notarized from the counseling office. All right, a little bit of multiple choice advice that I have for you guys is that they are not written to trick you. All right, some are actually easy, so please trust your gut instinct. I know that a lot of you are like me, and the questions you get wrong are the ones that you go back and actually change and second guess your answer on. All right, so go with your gut instinct. And also, there's no benefit for finishing early, so please use all of your time, read each question closely and carefully, narrow down the choices and make your best guess if necessary. You can write on the actual test booklet, so if that helps you to be able to eliminate answers, please do so. All right, so now we're going to talk about the FRQ. Just a reminder in terms of the formats, you will take the multiple choice portion first, you will have 60 minutes to answer those 60 questions. You will then have a 10-minute break and come back and answer 3 FRQ questions. The first FRQ question will be a totally written question, so there will be no stimulus, just words. The second FRQ question will have 1 stimuli, so some type of map, some type of graph, some type of data, and the question will then follow. And then the third FRQ question will have 2 stimuli. So that could be 2 maps, it could be a map and a graph, but there will be 2 stimuli in that third question. Because the FRQ is timed writing, it is not expected to be a polished essay. However, you must write incomplete sentences. No bullet points, no lists. Focus on the content. Write neatly enough that your handwriting is legible. If the reader cannot read what you wrote, they cannot score it. Points are not deducted for crossing things out or for spelling or grammatical mistakes that do not detract from the overall meaning of the writing. Just like I've told you guys all year, you should be answering it just the way that we have done in class. Please make sure that you read the question. So again, please read the question. Begin by carefully reading the question and then read it again a second time. Look at the stimuli. If it's a map, read the title of the map and read the data of what's being presented. Look at them carefully. Think about where you've seen this information before. What unit does the stuff come from? One of the biggest mistakes that I've seen all year with you guys is that you're not answering what exactly the question is saying. So a good way to try to prevent that is to circle the key directive words and underline the key parts of the question. So what is the question exactly telling you to do? And make sure you answer exactly what it's telling you to do. The rubric. Again, you should answer just like we have done all year in class, just like I've taught you guys. So you need to label each part of your answer, right? So part A, write A, and then answer part A in complete sentence form. Skip a line, B, answer part B, etc. So definitely label, just like we've done all year. Response. Brainstorm anything you know that is related to the topic and take a few minutes to organize your thoughts into the framework. Provide specific, detailed support for your answer. Use examples from the text, class discussion, assignments, and current events. If the question asks for an example, give a specific example. Do not just say Africa. All right, pick a specific example. So then, answer the question. Begin writing. You do not need an introduction or conclusion, but you should label each part of your answer in order and leave lines in between each part. Whenever possible, integrate appropriate geographic terms. Use your vocab. Vocab, vocab, vocab. It shows the reader that you know exactly what you're talking about. Routine. When you finish writing your answer, go through your answer twice if you have time. Make sure you have answered all the parts and included everything you need to get the point. Now read it again if you have time. All right, now let's review the task verbs. Effective answers to essay questions such as FRQs depend upon a clear understanding of the meanings of these directive words. For example, if students describe when they are asked to compare or list when they're asked to explain, responses will be less than satisfactory and points will be lost. So here are the task verbs you will see on this year's AP exam. Define, which means to provide a specific meaning for a word or concept. Identify, which means to indicate or provide information about a specified topic without elaboration or explanation. Compare, which means to provide a description or explanation in order to show similarities and or differences. Describe means to give an account of, tell about, give a word picture of. And again, this is the bread and butter point here, generally a lead off section of FRQs. Explain means to make clear or plain, make clear the causes or reasons for something, make known in detail, tell the meaning of. So this is more details than a describe question. So describe specifically means to provide the relevant characteristics of a specified topic. So let's say you had a question that said, describe the changing demographic structure of Japan since the 1990s. Your answer should be something along these lines. The demographic structure of Japan has changed as the birth rate has decreased and life expectancy has increased since 1990. This has resulted in a more top-heavy or inverted population pyramid with many elderly people and relatively few children as the result of working age people, and just keep going into as much detail as you have time for. So in terms of kind of the length that it should be, if it's a describe, it needs to be about 3 to 4 detailed sentences with specifics. So look for the implied commands and words you need to demonstrate that you understand. Also remember that scale matters, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Explain means you're going to need to go into the most amount of detail. So this means to provide information about how or why a relationship, process, pattern, position, or outcome occurs using evidence and or reasoning, meaning you should definitely be giving examples if it's asking you to explain. So for an example question, you could see something like, explain why deforestation has been increasing in tropical regions. Your answer could be something along the lines of this. Deforestation is occurring in tropical regions because commercial farmers in the region need more land as consumer demand increases and there is widespread use of unsustainable farming practices such as slash and burn agriculture. And again, you could talk about specific types of agriculture here like plantations. You could talk about cattle ranching. All of those would be specific examples to help you answer that question. Now, let's talk about explain to the degree. All right, so you're definitely probably going to see one of these on one of the 3 questions as well. So if the question asks you to explain the degree to which, if you get this, they're looking for you to establish the level to which something is relevant, applicable, true, etc. Your answer should be something like this. This model holds true in these circumstances or places or scales, and then explain it, but does not hold true in these. Here's why, and here's an example. Explain to the degree to which how angry are you? I'm really angry right now because my mom took my cell phone off me because I wasn't e-learning. However, she didn't listen to me when I told her I was using it to help me find an answer in my AP Human Geography homework. So again, with explain to the degree, you need to say basically how it does work and how it does not work. That's what this is asking you to do. All right, so your answers for explain and explain the degree to which should be at least a paragraph long. Use the words because and for example in order. And then again, please make sure you're using vocabulary terms. These questions are often looking for you to explain cause and effect relationships. So another thing to help you guys with the task verbs is to go back and rewatch that Mr. Sin video, which I'll also post on Is Learning. So when you see the compare task verb, what this is asking you to do is to provide a description or explanation of similarities and or differences. Notice you have to describe or explain the differences and or similarities. So for example, if you had a prompt that said compare the theories of environmental determinism and possibilism, you can start off by explaining how they are similar, like this. Both are philosophies that focus on human-environmental interaction and aim to explain the degree to which humans are shaped by their environment. Then go into how they're different. Whereas environmental determinism asserts that developmental and cultural differences are attributed to differences in physical landscape, possibilism helps to show how humans also play a role in their own development. So again, here you should have at least a paragraph, and you need to be doing both of those things, explaining how they are different and how they are similar. Just some other general advice for FRQs. Avoid using words like always and never. Instead, use often and seldom. Do not use stereotypes in your FRQ answers. Don't say things like Africa is super poor, all Africans are poor, and no one even goes to school. You need to be specific in your assertions. You can say, the many countries in sub-Saharan Africa are in the lowest levels of development according to HDI. That is a much better way to get that point across. Answer the question in front of you, not what you want to answer. You can say something totally correct, but if it's not what the question is asking, you're not going to receive the points. Questions aren't constructed to trick you. Assume that whatever is being asked follows what is typical. Only address expectations if you know for sure it is an exception to the rule. All right. Also, please, with examples, try to give the examples you think everybody else is giving. Don't give random obscure examples. All right, let's quickly review scale of analysis. So you could definitely see an FRQ question where part of it says to simply identify the scales of analysis in the maps shown. So let's go through some maps and make sure again that we know what this is asking. All right, so for this first stimulus, stimulus 1 is a world map with regions shaded in choropleth style like this. So the correct answer for the scale of analysis shown in this map is a regional scale. You could say world regional or regional scale. Note that it is not global. A lot of times students see a world map and they immediately think it's global, but we see that the data, what's being represented, is by these world regions. So it would be a world regional scale. All right, stimulus 2 shows just Southeast Asia, but shows independent countries were shaded in choropleth style along state borders. So this would be a country level or national scale of analysis. Again, it's how is the data being presented? That's what scale of analysis is asking. So here for stimulus 3 shows the United States at a county level. So the correct answer for this would be county level or local scale of analysis, not national. Even though it shows the entire United States, the data is broken down by county level, and therefore that is the scale of analysis. All right, so the question asks for the scale of analysis. Basically, at what scale is the map chunking its data? All about how is the data broken down. So again, just some other examples that we can see here. This first map is broken down by country or national level, right? That is how we are seeing the data. This second map, we see world regions. This is a world regional scale of analysis. This would be by county, all right? So we are seeing counties broken up in the state of Maryland. And then this would be a sub-regional or sub within a country, the different regions that you see. So we know that on the third FRQ, there's going to be two stimuli, right? So many times those stimuli are going to be related in some way. So here would be an example, right? So you might have a question about food deserts, and it shows you the first map, which the scale of analysis is county level data for the entire country. And then we see it zoomed in to specifically Harris County, Texas, which is the county where Houston is. And so we're then at this more local level seeing where within Houston these food deserts are actually located. So the whole point of looking at scale of analysis is to get a better perspective versus zooming in and zooming out on this data. Some last words of advice for you guys. You have 2 hours and 15 minutes of testing time. Do not rush. Use all of your time well. You have studied and worked hard for a whole year. You owe yourself your full effort and concentration for this test. Here's my last final piece of advice. All right, so right before the test starts, I want you guys to close your eyes, sit up straight, close your mouth, and breathe through your nose. 5 long inhales and 5 long exhales. Then open the test. This will help calm your nerves a little bit and get you nice and ready and focused to start the actual exam. All right, I can't wait to see you guys next week and discuss how you're feeling about the test. Feel free to message me on It's Learning anytime before or after the test. Just know you're not allowed to talk about the multiple choice questions with me, and we can't talk about the FRQ questions until College Board posts them, which they will do usually about 3 days after the test. All right, good luck, guys. I know you're going to do amazing.